Welcome back, everybody. Sport Federation TV. We, of course, carry on talking about sport in the province across the 6 districts. West Coast, Central Karoo, Overberg, Eden, Cape Winelands, Cape Town. Those are the 6 municipal districts across the provinces. Now, as you know, of course, we have a number of national sport codes in the province and, of course, international sport codes as well. And one of the big sport codes within the SASCOC structures is, of course, physically disabled. And joining me on the line now is Mark Beek, the president of Physically Disabled Western Cape. Mark, it's great to have you back on the line. How are things there with you?
JP, it's great to be online and great to be back on TV with you again and chatting and going through these emotions. No, it's going well. Physically Disabled is back on the road again. Our athletes are training hard. Our 7 sporting codes that we're working on, which is athletics, CP football, bocce, goalball, judo for the blind, powerlifting, paracycling. It's all green for go at the moment, but we're still being very apprehensive because our athletes are high risk. So what we've done now is we've basically opened it up for the high performance athletes to compete. We're preparing now for nationals in April, which will be in PE, and then after that it's the straight run to Tokyo 2021, which we're looking forward to, which quite a few of our athletes are hoping to qualify for.
Let's go back 2 steps. You mentioned some of the codes there that we know, which are self-explanatory. Tell us about CP football.
CP football, it's a wonderful sport. It's 7-a-side football and it's played by CP physically disabled athletes. It's played on a half-a-side soccer field. It's great, and it's strongly competitive in the Western Cape. We have some good teams. It's very strong in the schools as well.
And then you mentioned paracycling. Tell us, what is paracycling? How does that work?
Well, paracycling is basically tricycles and bicycles that athletes utilize. They are physically disabled athletes. They junior. We basically, the Western Cape SAPD, under the National Federation of SAPD, we control and monitor the junior cyclists. The senior cyclists are controlled and managed by South Africa. So we're busy with the junior and the schoolgoers, and they compete on their tricycles. It's also an amazing sport. Watch them going around the track, and then they also do the road race as well.
We, of course, know the likes of, historically, we've always known the likes of Ernst van Dijk. As when you think paracycling, you think Ernst van Dijk.
Ernst van Dijk's an amazing athlete. He's he does multiple sports, basically hand cycle, which is the bike equivalent, and then he does the racing chair as well. And they're both marathons. He's a marathon man. He's a world champion. He's won the Boston, London, Tokyo. He's all these marathons. He's really phenomenal, and we're very proud of his achievements, and hopefully he will be with the team going to Tokyo this year.
I've been lucky enough to be in some of the talks that Ernst gave in the past, and he was explaining the technology that goes into the bike itself, and that some of these cyclists have even had their bikes manufactured by I think former Formula One motor racing experts. So there clearly is a lot of technology involved there.
No, listen, I can tell you now, Ernst is not his hand cycle, but his actual push bike, the racing bike. That is incredible. I think I'm under correction. He's involved with Honda, and his bike is manufactured there. But also there's BMW and a couple of other manufacturers that manufacture these things. And going to wind tunnels, and the technology is incredible. And they do carbon fiber and aero aluminium and all these things, just to make it lighter and faster and more aerodynamic.
Of course, the Paralympics is the big thing that everybody's looking forward to.
It is. That's the big game at the end of the year. Everybody's training. They've been hyping up. I think the hardest part for our athletes that were preparing for it last year was the fact that it was cancelled, or should I say postponed. That was a big blow to them, not just to our athletes, but to all the athletes around the world. And I think they had to pick themselves up psychologically. We were very much involved with their coaches, trying to help them, spur them on. on Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram and all these things, trying to motivate them, inspire them to not give up. And I must say that our athletes have done a sterling job to stay fit during COVID, which I think was very, very difficult, to be homebound and have to do this training and try and keep up at a level that will keep you at that international standard. I take my hat off to the athletes and I admire them for that. And it's not just our athletes; it's all the athletes that have done it across the sporting community.
Mark, you got the April, the nationals in April. I believe you said in Port Elizabeth. Do we have a number of athletes from the Western Cape going to compete there?
Yeah, nationals, Toyota SAPD National Championships will be from the 24th to 29th of April currently. And we'll be sending a team of high performance elite athletes, probably around about 30 athletes in total, that will be competing. These will all be the athletes that are required to qualify. They've got to compete at the SAPD National Championships to qualify for Tokyo.
Where do we stand from our chances point of view with the Western Cape? We've always got to brag about our athletes in the Western Cape. Do we have a before we even talk about getting to the Paralympics, do we have a chance of a couple of medals, South African medals from our provincial athletes?
No, absolutely. I think we have a very, very, very strong team lineup of athletes, senior Paralympians that are from Rio 5 years ago actually now, and World Games in Dubai in 2019. That lineup is incredible. We've got some nice young juniors coming through the ranks, which are at high performance level. There are about 10 of those athletes coming through. So and it's male and female. They are brilliant. They're wonderful. We've been training them. We've been watching them on their progress, and we're expecting some medals to come home with them from nationals.
And Mark, when the athletes travel overseas like that, or even now to the nationals in Port Elizabeth, who do they take with them? Do they take a support team with them, or is it only coaches?
No, there's a full support team. So they'll go with physiotherapists, medical team, management, their coaches as well. So it's a complete support structure that will be going with them.
Right. Mark, then if anybody wants to find out more about physically disabled sport in the province, of course we know that that you guys are very active on Facebook, always talking about your activities, but how do folks get involved, and who should get involved?
Well, anybody that is physically disabled, we would encourage them to make contact with us. They can contact us by email, which is wcsapd@gmail.com. And on Facebook, they can contact us on Facebook. Hopefully within the next month, we will be having our website, which will be going live. So we're waiting for that to be finalized and approved before we can make that live, which we're very excited about. Look, I think if there's an athlete out there, young or old, and they want to get involved, please make contact with us, and we will put you in contact with the right coaches, with the right clubs. Don't feel that you can't do it. Really, even if it's just social, or if it's for professionalism or high performance, contact us. We will do the best we can to get you into the right sport that will benefit you.
Fantastic, Mark. We'll leave it at that, and we'll say to you, stay safe out there, and we'll chat again soon.
Thank you very much, and stay safe, JP. And everybody, just remember, please, social distancing and wear your mask.
Absolutely. There we go, folks. Mark Beck, the president of Western Cape Physically Disabled, and we're looking forward to finding out how our athletes do at the Nationals in Port Elizabeth in April, and then, of course, looking forward to seeing that our athletes travel to Japan, to the Paralympics. Very excited for them after such a hard year for everybody in the world, in fact. Folks, but as you heard Mark say there, if you want to get involved with physically disabled, just do a search there on Facebook. It's probably the easiest. Do a search for Western Cape Physically Disabled or WCSAPD on Facebook and reach out. And Mark will certainly be able to put you in touch with the right people. And as he said, in the right sport code, which is quite important to understand. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about sport in the province. Back in a sec.